job shadows to mock interviews. Please join me in welcoming Donna RESA.
Well, this wasn't part of my speech, but I did want to say that our organization strongly believes in what this RESA Tech program does, and personally, I feel we need to do a whole lot more of it. So first of all, good evening and welcome everyone. What an exciting time, but especially tonight. We get to celebrate each one of you, our graduating seniors. Thank you, Mr. Yannick and Mrs. Fran McBride, for asking me to speak at this tonight. Like Mr. Yannick said, I'm Donna RESA. I have been a lifelong resident of St. Clair County. I went to Marine City High School, and I married an old muskrat out of Algonac. My husband, Steve, and I have raised our 2 children in Fairhaven, Stephen and Katie, and we also have our business in St. Clair County in Fairhaven. And I think you guys will know I love and believe this county has great things. Well, before we get much further, I wanted to open up with a joke. You have to excuse me, I always mess up jokes, so I'll try to do a good job. Okay, I heard about this kindergarten teacher. She wanted to teach her children more about self-esteem. She said to her class, "Everyone who thinks you are dumb, please stand up." She didn't think anybody would stand. And she wanted to make her point that nobody is dumb. But just about that time, little Johnny stood up. At this point, she didn't quite know what to do. She said, "Now Johnny, do you really think that you are dumb?" And he said very politely and respectfully, "No ma'am, I just hate seeing you stand there all by yourself." It's so exciting to see our St. Clair County's youth take a plunge into the next phases of your lives. I'm sure the last few years have come with challenges in getting you where you are today. There may have been many times where you may have wanted to quit. Times you celebrated with excitement. Times where great memories were made and where new friendships were created that will last a lifetime. Maybe there were times you just didn't want to get out of bed, but you did anyways. Through all the good and maybe not so good, you made it. You should all be very proud of yourselves. I want to tell you a story about a man named Charlie. Charlie was born and raised in Mississippi back in the 50s. He was the son of farmers. Back then, Mississippi was one of the poorest states in our union. Charlie didn't have indoor plumbing back then. Yep, no indoor plumbing. That meant no indoor toilet and no indoor running water. They had an outhouse and they drew water from a well and heated it on a potbelly stove and then placed it into an old-fashioned bathtub, and they would all take baths in that old-fashioned bathtub. Can you guys imagine that? Charlie didn't even eat in a restaurant until he was 18 years old. Being a farmer's son, you never ran out of work. Charlie sold peaches to make extra money to help his family out. Charlie knew growing up he did not want to be a farmer. Charlie almost didn't graduate from high school, and it wasn't because he wasn't smart. It was because he needed to help his family on the farm, and you guys know those life circumstances, they just get in the way. In fact, Charlie's senior year, he almost didn't graduate from high school, but he had a teacher who cared about him, and she gave him a special assignment and said, "Hey, if you finish this project, you'll be able to graduate with your class and you're going to get your diploma." His teacher knew that if she did not wasn't going to get his diploma, and he would not graduate at all. Well, the good news is Charlie finished his assignment, and he graduated. So with that, Charlie knew there had to be a better way. After high school, Charlie took a risk and with less than $100 in his pocket, set out for a new place in the north called Detroit, the booming motor city where jobs were plentiful and new adventures waited. This was a bit of a risk, as he knew that if there was any problems, there was no calling Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad didn't have money to help. There were no cell phones to rely on. Matter of fact, when he came to Detroit, he lived in a condemned basement in Roseville, Michigan. But it was all he could afford. Charlie landed a job for a manufacturer, but with having no technical skill sets other than what he had on the farm, he landed a job sweeping floors and cleaning their tool room. He was intrigued with the tool room equipment, and because of Charlie's good attitude, his work ethic, and determination, people were willing to help him by sharing their knowledge. After a few years, one of his bosses approached him and said, "How would you like to open up your own little shop? And if you do, Charlie, I will give you lots of work." Charlie rented a small garage, opened his company, and he worked long hours. He took on all kinds of projects, never turning the customer down. He went from being just a one-man show, a little garage, back in the 70s, to what this company is today. We are PTM Corporation, one of the largest privately held employers in St. Clair County. We are a metal manufacturer that is extremely proud of our heritage, and we continue that same culture Charlie started years ago. We believe a good attitude is one of the most important factors a human can offer. Give us someone willing to learn with a positive attitude, and we can develop that person just like Charlie developed himself. So from the one-man little garage owner, we have grown to employing more than 250 associates, 250 families. And in just a few years, our organization is going to do over $100 million in sales right here in St. Clair County. Yep, as you probably figured out, Charlie's my dad and the founder of our family business, PTM Corporation and Modified Technologies. My dad is my inspiration, and I have had the honor of working with him and learning from him for the past 34 years. But it even is really more than that, because you see, as a young girl, 9, 10 years old, I would spend my summers as much time as he would allow me, and I would go to the shop with him, and just how my dad learned, I had to clean the floors, I had to pitch in where there was a need, I had to be willing to learn from others, and while keeping a good attitude. I swept the floors and would remember my dad saying, no matter what you do it the best job that you can do. You do it with excellence, and you do it with a cheerful attitude. And if you do it, you will go far. Dad and I have had lots of challenges these last 34 years, but they have been some of our best times. Well, here we are today, guys, and like Charlie, you're going to have choices to make. If life hits and things don't go as planned, and they will, what choices will you make? When I look back and see where Charlie came from and what he didn't have in his life, he didn't let that get in his way. Like Charlie, you're going to have crossroads and decisions, upsets, celebrations. You all have a choice with how you will handle those challenges. Let's all agree, guys, you're going to be like Charlie. Positive attitudes, no matter what, and guess what? You will go far. I suggest you surround yourselves with people who will be positive, people who are going to encourage you, challenge you, and believes in you. But most importantly, guys, you got to believe in yourself. I'd like to leave you with this quote from the great Ray Lewis of the Baltimore Ravens. What if we do the impossible? If I miss anything about my career or life, It will be to listen to what people say you can't do, and then go do it. Congratulations, class of 2016, and may God bless you all. Thank you.